Hi, Jane. Thanks for being here. As you're coming in, please introduce yourself in the chat. Let me know your name, the city you're joining us from, city, country you're joining from. Anna Maria Moore from Trinidad. Thanks for being here. And Jane, you're from Accra, Ghana. Amazing, amazing. Okay, well, welcome to you all. You're taking the time in your evening. I know Accra, Ghana, it must be late for you. You still made it. So I'm glad you decided to take some time out of your evening to prioritize your career growth. The webinar today is from overlooked to confidence, and I'm sharing the story of how I landed 5 promotions in less than 8 years. But most importantly, I'm teaching you strategies that will help you to be able to achieve career success and achieve even greater things. So that is what we are talking about here today. So I would love to know why you decided to join us today. I know there are quite a number of people who are online and you're all here for various reasons. I'm going to show you a couple of reasons why you could be here. It could be something else as well. And just use the chat to let me know what number resonates most with you in terms of why you decided to join the webinar today. So number one, you're an introvert in a role that doesn't reflect your true capabilities. You're being overlooked and you feel like your full potential is wasted while your career continues to go nowhere. So if that's why you decided to join today, you can drop a number 1 in the chat. Number 2, you're not the loudest person at work and it frustrates you when others get ahead just by talking without adding value. Number 3, you know you're confident deep down, but asserting yourself or speaking up still feels unnatural or draining. Number 4, you know you're confident. Oh, that's the exact same one. Number 5, your visibility doesn't match your impact. You're pragmatic, thoughtful, and results-driven, but it feels like that's no longer enough. And number 6, you're working on rebuilding your confidence after being impacted by a toxic environment or moments that silence your voice. So let me know what number aligns with you in terms of why you decided to join today's webinar. Number 1, you feel stuck. Your potential at work is being wasted in your current role. Number 2, you're quiet at work and it's costing you visibility. Number 3, you're confident but not assertive. You don't know how to assert your confidence. Number 4, you think clearly but struggle to speak up. So that's the one that was missing. So if you're the kind of person who you know the answer, you know what you should say, but for some reason there's a disconnect between your mind and communication. So if that's what aligns with you and why you decided to join today, let me know. Number 4 in the chat. Number 5, you deliver results but don't get clear credit. And number 6, you're rebuilding after a confidence setback. So let me know in the chat why you decided to join us today. Number 1 through 6, and it could be something else. If you're like, oh, I joined for a different reason that I don't see here, you can let me know in the chat as well. All right, so Paulette 234. Another person says 4, mix of 2, 3, 4, but 4 if I had to choose. 1, 1, 3, 6, 4, 6, and 3, 4. Okay, cool. Amazing, amazing. Is there anyone else that's here for a different reason? Because I would love to know that as well. Let me know in the chat if there's a completely different reason. Maybe you read a post that resonated with you and that's why you decided to join. Let me know in the chat as well. So for whatever reason you decided to join today, I am more than happy to be a part of your career journey as you're looking to assert yourself, as you're looking to grow, as you're looking to increase your communication skills, uncover your strengths, and no longer be overlooked at work. And a lot of my clients often find themselves in various situations as you're sharing through the chat and the various numbers that you're typing out. And they find themselves in this situation before joining our program, the Introvert Leadership Method. And the thing is, change really can't wait, because staying quiet in your job, it will impact you in the long run. As much as it's important to stay true to who you are, sometimes there are easy adjustments that you can make that will enable you to go so much further in your career. There was a study that was done by the University of Messina, and they found that people with low self-esteem and low self-confidence were making $28,000 a year less than their more extroverted and more outspoken counterparts. So if you think about it in the long run of your career, these subtle changes that you could make could impact how much you're making in your career. And if you think about 28,000 in, the span of your career over 30-35 years, that's a lot of money that we're talking about. So it doesn't just impact you as a person, it impacts how much money you can earn, and it'll impact also how much you can support those who are around you. So the truth is that you don't have to change who you are to lead. You just need the right strategies to align with your strengths. And that's what we will be talking about today. And here are some stories from people who were in the same boat as you, who were looking to build their confidence, looking to uncover their strengths so that they could become leaders in their careers. These are two of my clients. So that's Thelma, that's Violetta, and they were part of our program, and they were able to, for Thelma, she was able to land a new role that enabled her to, after job searching for a long time, landed a new role. For Violetta, she recently just landed a promotion, and that was partly due to the fact that she decided to build a strong personal brand to showcase her strengths through the program and the learning that she received. So what you think and do when you feel overlooked as a quiet leader. You may be that person who keeps reading books, keeps going to, taking online courses, maybe attending way too many webinars, but nothing feels like it's addressing what you need as a quiet leader. Or you've tried the whole fake it till you make it, but then you are feeling drained, disconnected, and you're doubting your abilities. Maybe you've invested in updating your resume, you're continuously looking through job boards, but nothing is aligning with where you want to go. Or you want to speak up, lead meetings, and own your value, but every attempt feels awkward, forced, it doesn't feel natural. You're tired of being passed over. Maybe you've been passed over for promotions by colleagues who are more assertive, who are more charismatic, but you are also still doing the hard work in the background. Or maybe you're juggling so many things, from family, work, life just generally, and even just this idea of finding the time to invest in your career feels draining. So whatever reason you may be in, the thing is, opportunities won't wait for you, and neither will your career. So whatever your motivation is for being here, I'm here to fully support you in your journey. So for those who do not know me, I am Lissa Appia. I'm a certified career strategist, certified organizational coach, and personal branding consultant. I'm located in Ottawa, Canada. I saw a few people who introduced themselves in the chat and said what city they're from. If you haven't done so yet, please go ahead, introduce yourself, whether you're live or you're watching the replay. Go ahead and introduce yourself. It's always great to know the different places where people are joining us from. I live in Ottawa, Canada, originally from Ghana, and I am an introvert, and I've been promoted 5 times in less than 8 years by implementing strategies, simple strategies that help me be able to showcase the strengths that I have as an introvert and to be able to succeed in my career. I am a mom, a manager, an entrepreneur, a wife, and many other things. And so I do understand how busy we can get, but with simple adjustments in your career, you can achieve the success that you're looking to achieve. So I've coached over 1,000 professionals, helping them achieve Career clarity and confidence. On average, our client's salary increase is 36,000, and this is achieved in 6 months or less. And in the last 2 years, this has looked like 3.1 million in cumulative income through our clients who have secured new roles. So here are just some of the testimonials from the various clients that we have worked with. People who have started new career paths that align with their personality and have a better understanding of their roles. People who started new roles at the beginning of the year, and a few more here. And the one that always stands out to me is I run this webinar a few times a year. So at one of the previous 5 and 8 webinars, there was a woman who participated, and she took everything that she could from the webinar, and the next day she went to her boss and asked for a promotion, and she got promoted at work just by attending the webinar, learning what was necessary, and making quick adjustments, and going to her boss, sharing her achievements like she learned in the webinar, and she landed a promotion on that day. So it's amazing what can be done when you know what to do, right? So these are just some of the client wins. So imagine being able to earn that 6-figure salary while you're leading with calm confidence and authenticity, being respected, recognized as a powerful leader while staying true to yourself, taking control of your schedule, energy, career direction, and also feeling empowered, heard, and trusted for the value that you bring to every room. So, how I landed 5 promotions in 8 years. We're going to start off this conversation by I will share my career path with you. So, this is my strategic career roadmap to give you an idea of how I landed the various promotions. And then I will break down the various strategies that I used to land those promotions. So, I started my career in government in April 2012 to 2014. And basically, I was a student at the time and an intern. It was a very difficult time then to be able to land a permanent position. So I was taking different short-term roles just to basically survive, just to stay employed. And so I did clerical jobs, I did admin jobs. And at this point, I did have a master's degree, but opportunities were just not available. So I was taking whatever I could to be able to basically survive. And then finally, I was able to position myself for a first promotion that happened in April 2014. I was promoted as a junior policy analyst. And this is where I had that realization that if I wanted to succeed in my career, I needed to learn how to leverage my strengths, and I needed to learn how to assert myself. I remember being on a team at that time, and we were doing international negotiations, and every junior analyst supported a senior analyst who was doing a negotiation with a certain country. So I was part of a team, and we were negotiating with another country, and the opportunity came up for us to be able to travel to that country to finalize the negotiations. And as much as I was the person who was supporting the senior analyst, they didn't choose me as a junior analyst to go with the senior analyst. They chose a different junior analyst to go. And he was a guy with a lot of personality, very bubbly, the kind of person that everybody wants to talk to in the office, who goes by everybody's desk and just chit chats. And I ended up doing the work. I was doing the work. I did the research. I was the one who prepared them to go on this trip, but he basically took all my notes, all my speaking points, and he was just the voice of my work. And that was really the moment that I realized that I need to be able to advocate for myself, but also give my work a voice, be able to amplify my work by speaking about it. And the reason I found out I wasn't selected is because they thought I wasn't able to be part of the negotiation. They thought I didn't have what it took in terms of being able to communicate what was necessary as part of that negotiation. So that was the point where I started to implement these various strategies that I'm going to teach you in more detail, but that was the first promotion. I then got another promotion a few months later. If you look at it, it didn't take that long. I had the wake up call quickly and I was like, okay, if we're playing the game, let's go. So I got promoted in a next role. And in terms of strategy here, I wanted a role where I had the opportunity to lead in terms of writing, because I knew that that was something that would help me in terms of my visibility in the long run. From there, I got another promotion in October 2016, where I was now a senior advisor and I was leading working groups. I was interacting very closely with senior management. Then got promoted in January 2018. Now, this was my first leadership role. I was a team leader and I was now managing a team of 5 people at the time. I did go on maternity leave for a little over a year and came back, and within a few months of coming back, landed another promotion as a manager leading legislative and regulatory work. So this is my strategic career roadmap. So now we are going to break it down in terms of the various strategies that I use to land these promotions. So this is what I want you to know as the foundation in terms of how to succeed in your career. This is the PI formula by Harvey Coleman. And the PI formula is basically a formula for career success. He says that there's 3 main components if you want to succeed in your career: performance, image, and exposure. And that's what makes PI. Performance, he says, is only 10% of everything. And if you think about it, it's basically saying that working hard, doing the work, getting results, that's the bare minimum. That should be expected, that you're doing your job and you're doing it well. From there, the next thing that's important is your image. So this is what we now call your personal brand. How are you presenting yourself at work? How are you presenting yourself online? What is that executive presence that you're bringing to meetings? What's the value added that you bring in terms of thought leadership? That is your overall image. So that counts for 30% of your career success. And then the next thing that is the most important is exposure. So exposure counts for 60% of your career success. So when I gave that example of the guy that got chosen and I didn't get chosen, it's because he was focusing on the 60%. He was the guy who knew every leader. He was the guy who was going around and talking to everybody every morning, while I was focusing on the 10%. I was just focusing on performance, work hard, do this, do that. But then I wasn't paying attention to my image or exposing myself in the organization. And so when an opportunity came up, they didn't think about me. They thought about the guy who had the exposure. They thought about the guy that they knew was talkative. They thought about the person that they knew could showcase the best of the organization. And so this is the PI formula for career success. So try to think about it. In terms of your own career, in terms of your own organization, how do you fit into the PI formula? Are you spending too much time, energy in performance, or maybe not enough in image or exposure? Try to think about it. And the percentages, as much as it's 10, 30, 60, depending on what organization you work with, the strategies will be different. And we're going to talk about that just now. But just at least know what's most important is that performance is the bare minimum. Image and exposure is what really moves the needle in terms of you being able to advance and succeed in your career. So we're going to start with step 1. So this is the first thing that I did to be able to land multiple promotions, is understanding the system. So this is if you're internally, you work within an organization, you're trying to get promoted. What is it that you need to know? You need to know what's the system, what's the way to get promoted in your organization. A lot of people just assume that, oh, I want a promotion, so I'm going to go ask my manager. Is it the way that it works in your organization? Not all companies promote that way. So I've seen many times people just waiting around. When there's a promotion, my manager will let me know. They will call me out when there's an opportunity. Maybe it doesn't work like that in your organization. Maybe in your company, you need to apply for a promotion. Maybe in your company, you need to go in front of a board or a panel for a promotion? Do you even know what is the way to get promoted within your company? So this is the first step in terms of being able to land a promotion, is understanding, how do I get promoted? So there are different types of systems that exist. The example I gave you within my organization is a meritocracy. So this is a meritocracy is where you are recognized for your skills, your contributions, your innovation. Typically in a meritocracy, it's that you go, you do an exam, or you get interviewed, or you do an application, and it's a competitive process, and they choose people who land the promotion. So a meritocracy is common in a lot of public sector organizations, but there are bigger organizations as well in the private sector that use this system. So that is one system. The next system is based on performance. So this is the system where it's basically depending on how well you're doing at work, depending on how much you're impacting, you're moving the needle, how much you're bringing money in, depending on the performance measures, the KPIs that were given to you, how well are you achieving those? That will determine whether or not you will get promoted. So that's another system very common in the private sector. Another system that is not as common anymore, but still exists, is seniority. So you get promoted based on your tenure, based on your loyalty to the organization. When you get to a certain number of years, there's a promotion waiting for you. So this is another system that exists. And then we have hybrid systems. So hybrid systems is, in some organization, it may be a combination of meritocracy and performance, or it may be a combination of meritocracy and seniority. So these are the various systems that can exist. But what I want you to do is find out in your company, what is the system? How do you get promoted within your company? And this could be in the HR handbook. It's possible that you will need to reach out to HR and find out what the system is. If it's a smaller organization, maybe there isn't a clear structure like it's laid out here, but have that conversation with the person that you report to. Or if you're a very small organization in direct contact with the CEO or something like that, ask, find out what's the system so that I can get promoted within this organization. So this is internally. Now we're talking about externally. So I know sometimes, we're talking about promotions, but some people want to change companies. As much as, yes, they're looking for that pay bump, or they're looking for a better opportunity, they may decide that, hey, I found out what's the system within my organization, and they're basically saying that there's no opportunities above mine, or they're basically saying that there's no room for advancement in the next year or next 2 years. So I want to move up, so I'm starting to look at other companies. So if that's your situation, then you definitely want to do your research. You definitely want to make sure that you have an understanding of what the target company is, what the target industry is, and then the specific role that you're targeting. So asking questions will be a great way to do that, either with people who work in that organization or people who have worked there in the past. Having those informal conversations will help you get some of these answers. And once you get to the point that, okay, you have a sense of what the system is to apply for this role, or you get a referral, or maybe through a connection on LinkedIn, recruiter reached out to you, what you want to do is align your story and accomplishments with the need that that organization has. And then you take action. So you apply for the role, or you show up for the interview, and then you take action to be able to land the desired role. So where people tend to get stuck, where I've seen, is often step one, just being able to understand what's out there. People often tell me, I have no idea what the market looks like these days. I haven't been looking for a job in such a long time. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go. So I'm sharing with you a few resources here to help you get that search started. If you're one of those people that's not necessarily looking for a promotion internally, but you're now considering other organizations. So first one. If you're in Canada, you want to look at the jobbank.gc.ca. This is a government resource. It's completely free. You will go to the tab that says labor market information. And then what you're going to do is you're able to search the job title that you're interested in. You're able to search the location, and it'll give you industry trends on that job or that field specifically. This also has a tool that helps you for career planning. So it helps you know what are the different job titles that other job titles that this position may have. So this is an amazing resource, and it's by city. So you're able to know, okay, within this city right now, financial analyst roles, this is the salary I should expect. These are the requirements that they're looking for. This is how I position myself in terms of my transferable skills from what I have to where I want to go. So jobbank.gc.ca if you're in Canada. If you're in the US Bureau of Labor Statistics is the website that you want to look at. It's the exact same thing as the job bank that I just described, but it's the American version. And so you will do the same thing in terms of the searches. You'll be able to find information on pay. You'll be able to find information on what the job market looks like based on the state that you're in. So exactly everything I just explained for the job bank, you will be able to do on this website, US Bureau of Labor Statistics, if you are in the US. If you are international, you want to look at LinkedIn Career Explorer. This is a free tool offered by LinkedIn. Just Google search LinkedIn Career Explorer, and it's a great tool that gives you similar information. Why I like the LinkedIn Career Explorer is that it also helps. Okay, so what it does is that it matches your LinkedIn profile to the kind of job that you're interested in, and it will tell you what gaps you have. So if you're going to use it strategically, you need to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is complete, but it will tell you, for example, okay, based on the kinds of roles that you're interested in, there's a gap here in terms of this skill, that skill, and this skill. And it's great because maybe you already have the skill, but you haven't included those keywords in your LinkedIn profile. So this is something that can help you also with keyword optimization for your LinkedIn profile. It does have salary information. It has information on various job titles that you should consider. It has information on the amount of time that it could take to land a position in this field. So all that information is available on the LinkedIn Career Explorer. Another tool that is international, so wherever you are, not necessarily Canada, US. I saw somebody said Ghana, some people said they're from Trinidad. So LinkedIn Career Explorer will be good for you, but also ONET Online is a great resource that you can use for those who are outside Canada and the US. Very similar to everything I've been sharing. They have a tool that helps you search occupation, and it gives you various information on what the market is looking like in different countries for that specific role that you're interested in. So this is how you do your research. I don't want you to stay stuck and say, I don't know what the market looks like. I don't know where to start. This is where you start. These are the tools that will help you get the information to know how to make the change in career or change in job that you want to make. Okay, step 2, strategic visibility. So we just talked about now how understanding the system, doing your research. So now that you've done that, it's important that you are visible, that people know that you want a promotion, that people know that you want a job at this company or that company. So the way you position yourself is going to be really important. Again, going back to the pie formula for career success, 60% on exposure. So this is something that is extremely important. So step 1 is to be open about what you want. You know, as the saying goes, closed mouths don't get fed. So if nobody knows that you're expecting a promotion, if nobody knows where you want to go in your career, they can easily assume that you're fine where you are. You know, you come to work every day, you do your job very well. Maybe they think you're just happy where you are. You haven't expressed to anyone that you're actually interested in moving up. So have your expectations been shared with your leadership team, with your manager, with those that you interact with? That's step 1. Step 2, being able to find opportunities to remind your leadership team of what you're doing within the organization. And I saw this with my client recently. She asked for a promotion at work within her organization. It's a system based on performance. And then she went to her manager, had the conversation, and then she was letting her manager know, like, oh, I worked on this, I worked on that, this is what I did, and that's why I'm asking for a promotion. And the manager looked at her and she was like, I had no idea you were working on these things. So because she never expressed it, she never shared it. When they have team meetings, when they meet, when they talk about performance periodically, she never shared what she was working on, except for that one time that she asked for the promotion. So it came out of nowhere, and the manager was like, hey, I didn't even know you were working on all these things. So that was a wake up call for her, that she needs to implement a strategy to actually make sure that she's sharing the things that she's doing within the organization. Fast forward a year later, she did land her promotion, but it was that conversation that enabled her to make sure that she was actually sharing what she was doing within the organization. Step number three, or item number three, is creating an area of specialization. So this is a strategy that works really well for introverts. It's worked for me and it works for many of my clients. So I was in a role that it's the same role where I was sharing with you, in terms of that position where somebody went to the negotiation and I didn't get to go. So what changed things for me is I decided to start paying attention to what were the needs within the organization. Often there were some of the senior analysts that were complaining about corporate reporting. They were complaining that it's not something they enjoy doing. And many people, didn't want to go to the corporate reporting meetings. It's not a fun thing to do that people want to do. But I decided that, hey, this is an opportunity for me, because it's the work that no one wants to do, but also it's work that has high visibility. Corporate reporting goes all the way to senior management. It's an opportunity for me to position myself to be with executives, even as a junior analyst. So I decided I'm going to learn everything I need to know about corporate reporting. So I positioned myself as the expert in corporate reporting. People will reach out to me and be like, hey, I don't want to go to this meeting. Are you able to go? There's an executive asking for this meeting. Are you able to represent the team? And that's how I was able to get strategic visibility. At one of the meetings that I went to, I met an executive who told me, oh, I'm building a new team. I need someone with corporate reporting expertise like you have. So he told me, like, it's opening, apply for the role. So I did apply, and that's how I landed that first promotion within a few months. It was because I had a niche, I had an area of specialization. I created a brand around my knowledge. And this was something that helped me strategically position my knowledge and myself within the organization. And then number four is communicate that niche. You have this area of specialization. You know what you're doing. Don't keep it to yourself, because again, people will assume that you're fine where you are. And the danger sometimes of this, I want to go the extreme where I've seen with some of my clients as well, is you become so good at something, now they don't want to let you go. They're like, this person is so good at this, we don't want them to get promoted. We're not sending them to any other team. We're not sending them to any meeting so that they get the visibility. We're just keeping them there. So that's the other danger. And that's why it's important for you to communicate your niche, to communicate your desires, to share in performance appraisals what you've been able to do. Make sure that resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile is always staying fresh, because when opportunities come up, like when I went to that meeting and met the executive, it's not that I was job searching per se, it's just that an opportunity came up. But you need to be ready at all times. A recruiter reaches out to you on LinkedIn. It's not now that you're going to start, updating the resume you haven't looked at in 5 years. You need to stay ready. So that's what I mean by strategic visibility. Step three is to market yourself. So again, great work doesn't speak for itself. You need to amplify your work by speaking about it. This is the exact same thing like a business owner. You're an entrepreneur, you're selling a product, you're selling a service. Unless you tell people about it, nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to know what you're selling, because you decided that, okay, you're selling, I don't know, candles or you're selling whatever, and the candles are in your house. You don't tell anybody that you have candles. You're not posting on social media. You're not going to fairs or markets to be able to sell your candles. Then nobody knows that you have a business that involves candles. So it's the exact same thing. You have skills, you have knowledge, you bring so much to the table, but you're not telling anybody. You just stay at your desk, you're working hard, and nobody knows what value you bring. And sometimes you find yourself in a job that doesn't even align with your strengths. You may have so much skills that maybe you acquired from past jobs, or maybe you immigrated to a new country and you have a whole background, a whole history that nobody knows about, but you're not talking about it. So nobody's going to give you an opportunity aligned with your skills and your strengths because nobody knows that you actually have that. So it's important that you need to market yourself. You need to be that person who's advocating for you because nobody else will do it for you. So amplify your work by speaking about it. Build a personal brand. LinkedIn profile needs to be up to date. Use the platform. Many of you found me on LinkedIn. So I hope that at least that was a call for you to actually update your LinkedIn profile, to be actually using the platform, not just to be in the background and just, come on and like a couple of posts here and there, but actually build a brand on the platform to be able to elevate your career to the next level. Give yourself that permission to be able to show up in a way that you know that you can show up. And then obviously, as well, if you're internal, speak up at work, because we've spoken about building a personal brand. Those things are often external, where other people can see this is what you're doing. But also within your job, there's a role for you to play to be able to market yourself. So now if you're an introvert, let's talk about different ways that you can speak up in meetings to ensure that you're getting the visibility that you want. And so these are just 5 ways that you can speak up in meetings at work. They're not the only ways, but it's just to give you a bit of a foundation and to also help you think, where people often get stuck is that they're like, oh, I don't know what to say, or I don't want to talk if I'm not adding value. But sometimes even just asking a question after someone has said something can spark another conversation or can bring a new idea. So ask questions, support somebody else's thoughts. Somebody said something that was enlightening. I agree with your point because this reason. Answer questions. So if somebody has asked a question, you have the answer the question. A great way as well, if you're introverted, not comfortable speaking up in meetings, is to speak early. The sooner you get it done, the better it's going to be. Because this is often what happens. You sit in the meeting and you're like, oh, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something. Okay, now I'm going to talk. No, now I'm going to talk. I'll talk soon. And then the meeting is going, it's going, it's going. Then the meeting is done. You haven't said anything. Then after the meeting, you're regretting. I should have said this. I had the answer. How come I didn't say it? Or somebody else says what you wanted to say, and then you're like, that's what I wanted to say. Just say it and say it early. So that will help remove the pressure, and it's also going to remove that ruminating that's going to happen in your mind continuously. So those things are really important. Oh, someone is saying that's me, Paulette. I can relate to that. Yes, I've been that person as well. And then summarizing the key points. You're in a meeting, good discussion. So, at work, we have a lot of meetings. Like I was reading a study that said that people spend 20% of their work week in meetings. And then they said that as executives, you spend 36% of your work week in meetings. So you think about the number of meetings, and sometimes you leave the meeting and it's like, what was that meeting about? So you can be that person who summarizes the key points. Okay, great discussion, everyone. So I just want to clarify what are the key points from our conversation. So and so is going to do this person is going to do that, and this person is going to do this. Okay, great. Thanks so much. You can do that. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be the person who's leading the conversation. If the person leading the conversation is not doing that, you can summarize the key points to make sure that there's actually an outcome to the conversation. Okay, step 4 now, build and expand your circle of opportunity. Going back to our pie formula, we had 3 things. We've gone through performance, we've gone through image, now we're at exposure. It's so important for you to build your network, to not only build relationships, but actually leverage them. So it doesn't mean that, you got laid off, or you need a new role, or you want to exit a toxic work environment, and that's the time where you start sending messages to all your contacts. Don't be that person. I have someone in my inbox actually on WhatsApp right now who's like, I haven't spoken to this person in maybe 2 or 3 years. All of a sudden, they're looking for a job. Now we're best friends. Every day, they're sending me messages. They're sending me emails. They're sending me reminders. How are you doing, Lissa? Every day, they're sending me a message. Nobody likes that. You don't like that when you haven't spoken to someone in years, and then they need something, they need money, or they need a favor, and that's when they're reaching out to you. So don't be that person. You shouldn't be that person who only reaches out to people when you want something. So think about it that way. You need to build strategic relationships throughout your career, not just when you're job searching. The next thing is taking the time to actually get to know people. This should be part of your routine. I'm an introvert, as I said, and this is not something that comes naturally to me. When I'm thinking of like downtime, I want to be alone. It's not the time that I'm going to start thinking I have to call this person and that person and the next person. It doesn't even cross my mind. So because I know that I am like that, I schedule intentionally times that I block off and I contact people. So let's say I met someone at a networking event. I take their contact and I put it in my calendar. A week from now, I want to follow up on this person. I have people who, they're my friends. They're people that I know that I'm very close to, but because it doesn't cross my mind to reach out to them, I have to schedule it. So I schedule a time in my calendar, call this person, send a text to this person, check on that person. And these are ways that you can ensure that you're leveraging your network, but there's reciprocity, that networking becomes a two-way street where you're giving value and you're also receiving value. So building that network is really, really important. So, important reminder that self promotion, relationship building, it's not optional. It's essential for you to be able to succeed in your personal life, but your professional life as well. And it brings increased value in what you have to offer. And again, it's not a one time thing. It's not something that you just do and you forget about it. It's something that you need to do continuously. And if you're like me, it doesn't come naturally to you, then schedule the time to have reminders that you need to follow up or contact this person or the next person. So I want to read a testimonial to you. I won't read the whole thing, but this is someone that I worked with recently. And basically, she was sharing about how she was in a toxic environment and she felt lost, unsure about how to reclaim her career narrative. She's a young woman of color and sometimes found it challenging to fully recognize the value of her achievements and to trust in her abilities, especially in environments where her background, her achievements, her skill were embraced and supported. We worked together for 3 months, and in 3 months, she was able to regain her confidence. She was able to position herself as a leader, and she was able to land a promotion, doing a lot of the things that I've just shared with you in terms of how to position yourself for a promotion. A lot of times, as much as you're taking the various actions that I showed you, it starts in your mind. Sometimes it's just making a switch to say, I'm going to be intentional to take these actions to ensure I have the success that I want to have. Just that mindset shift, that change in your self belief, and then implementing the strategies will go a long way. So, if you're now prepared to never again be unable to voice out what you think, never again you want to be undervalued or overlooked, you never again want to have your heart racing when you have to speak up at work, or allow a lack of visibility to slow down your career, never doubt your skills, your ability, and never doubt your next career advancement move, I want to tell you about the Introverted Leadership Method. This is our one-on-one coaching program that empowers first-time introverted leaders and founders to become the go-to experts in their industry, all while staying true to themselves. I'm sure most of you know that workplaces tend to have a bias towards extroverts. You have networking events, you have brainstorming sessions, you have team building activities. There's even a study that says that 65% of senior executives thought that introverts are bad leaders. And it's often because of this narrative that to be a leader, you need to be bold, you need to be charismatic, you need to be outgoing. But there is value in quiet leadership. You are a great listener, you're a strategic thinker, you are an empathetic communicator. And these are all strengths that are great for a leader. But it's all about you firstly recognize the value that you have to offer before somebody else can actually recognize it. So in our program, it's a 6-month coaching program. You're working directly with me. We're helping you discover and uncover your strengths, your leadership style, helping you communicate effectively in meetings. We are having role play sessions where we're actually pretending that you're in a meeting and this is what you should say in this situation. That's what you should say in that situation. Together, we will build your personal brand. I will personally write your LinkedIn profile for you so you don't have to spend all that energy worrying about keywords and different things like that. I want you to focus on becoming a better leader, and I take that responsibility off of you. We will focus on how you can straighten your relationships with your colleagues, your manager, your team, and how to balance your well-being and your career performance and avoid burnout. So what leading with the introvert leadership method could look like, it can look like stepping into a leadership role, getting promoted while you're embracing your strengths, and being able to lead confidently, authentically. It looks like building a powerful personal brand and being the go-to expert within your industry. It looks like being confident in meetings, presentations, public speaking opportunities without second guessing yourself. You'll be able to build meaningful connections with people who are at the same level as you, people who report to you, and also being able to manage up. You'll also protect your energy because that's ultimately what being an introvert is. It's not about not liking people, it's about how you manage your energy. And so being able to manage your time properly will help you thrive also as an introvert. And then how you show up with clarity, confidence, and navigate various workplace situations. So in terms of what is included in the program, you will get more clarity on your leadership strengths, know how to articulate your value for your resume, your LinkedIn. By our first branding session together, you will have a done for you LinkedIn profile in the first 30 days of working together, and it's personalized coaching. So we're coaching together one-on-one, and you'll also build your credibility as a leader. So these are just a couple of more testimonials for some of the clients that I've worked with, being able to negotiate better salaries and not sell themselves short, being able to uncover their limited beliefs so that they can help and identify their career path. So if you're interested in the introvert leadership method, you're interested in learning more about the program, you can book a sales call with me and I will be happy to give you more information on the program. So I'll drop the link to my calendar so you can book a call with me. And now we have a few minutes for some questions. I see there's some comments in the chat. I wasn't reading everything, so I'm also going to check that. But if you have questions, this is the opportunity. I'm still around for the next 10 minutes. And so you can put your questions in the chat and I'll answer them. Okay, thank you for the timing of this presentation. I just had my review and it went well, but I want to knock my own socks off this year. Yeah, I love that. Okay, that's very, very exciting. And you're more than welcome. For people who are asking, I hope it's recorded. It is recorded. I'm going to send everybody the recording and you have access to it for the next 7 days. So if you want to go back and watch something, or for those who are watching the replay, you have access to this for the next 7 days, but it's not going to be public on my YouTube channel after that. Oh, Pamela's here. Good to see you, Pamela. Follow-up is so important. For example, we meet people and collect business cards at an event and rarely follow up. Yes, I completely agree. I completely agree. Follow-up is actually what makes a difference, because sometimes you meet a person at a networking event, like you're in a rush. You spoke to them maybe 5 minutes, but you didn't really get to know who the person is or how they can support your career, how you can support them. So I agree. Follow-up is so important. This is valuable information. Thank you for sharing. You're most welcome. You're welcome. Very informative. Thank you. You're welcome, everyone. Any questions? No questions? I'll give it one more minute if there's any questions. If not, if you want to go ahead and book a call with me, you can use the link, book a consultation that I put in the chat. I'm going to pin it as well. How did you ramp? Oh, sorry, something happened here. How did you ramp up quickly in each role as you rose? Okay, good question. It's basically about strategy. Let me stop sharing this. So how was I able to move up that quickly? You saw the timeline. The reason I say less than 8 years is because I took maternity leave for 15 months. So really, if you think about it, it was maybe like 5 promotions in about 6 years. But the way that I was able to move up quickly is that so what I would do is that I would know what was necessary for the next level. So I wouldn't wait until I wanted a promotion to acquire the skills that I needed to make the promotion. In the job that I was in, like let's say I was in that junior analyst role, I was already looking at the requirements for senior analyst jobs. And within that junior analyst roles, I was seeking opportunities to gain the experience of a senior analyst so that by the time I'm applying for a position for a promotion as a senior analyst, that's not the time that I'm of realizing, oh, I needed this experience, I don't have this experience. I had the experience because since day one that I started the new job, I already knew what was the requirements for the next job. So that's how I was able to position myself to move up quickly, preparing for tomorrow today, knowing what's the next level, what's needed for the next level as soon as I start the new job. So that's how I was able to ramp up quickly and rose in each role. It's nice to be here in the space. Yes. Thanks, Paulette. Pamela, you're most welcome. Does self-promotion on LinkedIn get easier with time as an introvert? It does. It definitely does. I think the thing with LinkedIn is that even as an introvert, LinkedIn is so, like, there's so many ways that you can build your brand on the platform that it allows you as an introvert to still showcase your expertise and your knowledge in a way that's comfortable to you. I know some people on LinkedIn, I have even some clients, they don't post any pictures on themselves. They write text posts or they write articles. And that's the way that they feel comfortable to build their brand. And they're still able to get opportunities through that. So what I would say is that you don't need to do what everybody else is doing to be able to get results. It's all about how do you feel comfortable, and then be consistent in that method you feel comfortable. But there are times also that you can challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone. I know I was very uncomfortable with video at the beginning, but I was like, it's something that I wanted to do. So I put myself in a 30-day, I don't know, it was a 21-day video challenge. Every single day for 21 days, I posted a video. And then I realized that, oh, this thing it's not that complicated. I can do this, right? So sometimes you do have to challenge yourself that way. You may think that something is so complicated, oh, it's so time consuming. But once you do it and you start building that muscle, you realize that it's not as complicated as you thought. So it does get easier as you increase the frequency and the consistency. I work in the construction industry surrounded by men most of the time. it is hard sometimes to connect. For me, being a person of color, woman, any recommendations when it comes to networking? Yes, I would say in terms of networking, start thinking about it at the industry level and not just at the job level. I know a lot of times people will say, oh, I'm networking, I go to after hours with my colleagues, I do different things like that. That's great, but that's networking just within your company. So you only know people who work at your company. You know, if something happens and for some reason you need to change companies or you need to look for a job elsewhere, it's important that your network is built not only in that job, but in the industry generally. So I would encourage you to network outside of your organization at the industry level, and then also try to find people who are like-minded, who may be at different companies within your industry. And there could be people who are doing similar work, even if it's not in your direct industry, but in a related industry. Try to find those opportunities as well to be able to build connections with people who are in similar jobs, but in different industries. How can introverts increase their visibility on LinkedIn? I think I answered that question with Nancy's question in terms of self-promotion on LinkedIn. So just to add a bit, there's so many ways you can on LinkedIn, whether it's text posts, whether it's through video, writing articles. There are so many ways. And the most underrated way that a lot of people overlook is just comments. That's how I started on LinkedIn. I wasn't comfortable creating my own content, so I would just add valuable comments on other people's posts. And some of my comments did so well that people started following me and reaching out to me for opportunities. So if you're someone who's not yet ready to create your own content, think about just commenting on posts of other thought leaders in your industry. How did you manage taking on additional tasks to gain exposure without burnout? Did you experience burnout in the process? I did not experience burnout, but again, that was part of just being strategic. So I would ensure that if I was taking on additional responsibilities, I would ensure that it wouldn't impact the job that I already had to do. So if I had any downtime, that's typically when I would pick up my hand to say, hey, I'm ready to do this, or I'm ready to do that. But the thing is, I only did it for a certain time in my career. And that's something to also keep in mind. When I was in that place where I was underemployed, where I was in jobs that were way below my qualification, yeah, that's when I was doing all this grinding and doing different things. When I reached a certain level in my career, people were reaching out to me for promotions. So I shared with you the strategies that I did for those two first promotions in terms of how I hustled to get those promotions. But once you get to a certain level in your career and you've built that brand and you've built that thought leadership, the three following promotions, people came to me, and it was through my networking, through my network, and they came to me for those promotions. So think about it as well. Sometimes you're doing something for a short period of time, but it's going to be able to last a long time. The efforts and the seeds that you're sowing now will last you many, many years in your career. What if the opportunity that is available doesn't align with your skills and strengths, even though the opportunity will give you good visibility? I would say you have to weigh what's the added value. You know, visibility is great, but then if it doesn't align with your skills, and I see this a lot, I have, you know, a lot of my clients are women, and sometimes, you know, very senior executive women, and they're always the ones organizing the social event for this. They're the ones who are cleaning up after workplace lunch things. They're the ones who are bringing the cupcakes. Like, they're doing all the office housework, right? Great visibility because you get to be in front of senior management, but how is that going to help you to be able to get your promotion? So you're spending all your energy doing the social events, and then you're tired, you're drained, and then it's not helping you to actually do your job you're supposed to do and to be able to position yourself for visibility for greater opportunities. So I would say just think about it in that way. Like, if it's exhausting work that's just for the sake of meeting senior management, maybe it's not going to add value, because also you have to think of impression. How are they seeing you? Is this opportunity actually causing you to be seen as a leader, Or is it causing them to see you as that person that they can send around to do different things? So that's what I would say to that. Just make sure that it is good visibility that is going to help you to achieve your ultimate goal. Okay, it was amazing connecting with you all. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, please connect with me. I would love to continue the conversation on LinkedIn. It's already 7 o'clock. I have to run. I have another call. But it was wonderful connecting with you all this evening, and let's continue the conversation. I will send you the recording shortly.